الله بالخير. ملياردير مفترس، شبكة من النفوذ والسيطرة، أكثر من 250 فتاة قاصرا، عقود من الانتهاكات، ولم يوقف أحد جيفري إبستين. كان مكتب التحقيقات الفيدرالي على علم بذلك منذ عام 1996 ولم يفعل شيئا. في عام 2019 كشفت الصحفية فيكي وود أن صفقة عدم الملاحقة القضائية المريبة التي أبرمتها وزارة العدل عام 2007 مع إبستين جاءت بعدما طلب من المدعي العام الأميركي ألكسندر أكوستا التراجع عن القضية. لماذا؟ لأن إبستين بحسب ما قيل له ينتمي إلى الاستخبارات. إبستين يملك جزيرة خاصة، قصورا فاخرة، سجلات رحلات مكتظة بأسماء نخبة العالم، رؤساء أمراء، رؤساء حكومات، سفراء، أصحاب مليارات، محامون إعلاميون ومفكرون. إلى أي عمق يمتد هذا الجحر المظلم؟ سيل من المعلومات المنقحة على نحو كبير أغرقت فضاء الإنترنت، مقاطع مصورة، صور، رسائل إلكترونية، تحويلات مالية، روابط مع ما يسمى جمعيات خيرية للدفاع عن إسرائيل، عشرات الزيارات من رئيس وزراء إسرائيلي سابق لإبستين، همسات عن مصائد إغواء وابتزاز. ومع ذلك تشتعل الأسئلة أكثر من أي وقت مضى. هل كان جيفري إبستين أكثر من مجرم؟ هل كان أصلا أداة استخبارية؟ من يستفيد عندما يمسك إبستين المنحرف بأقوى شخصيات العالم من نقطة ضعفها؟ ومن يقرر متى تدفن الأسرار إلى الأبد وإلى أي حد يكشف منها؟ وفي عالم تتقاطع فيه الاستخبارات مع الانتهاكات الإنسانية والقيمية وتمتزج فيه حصانة النخبة بالإفلات من العقاب، هل يمكننا حقا أن نثق بما بقي مخفيا خلف سطور الحجب والتنقيح؟ نرحب بكم ونرى ونسمع أكثر مع جاكوب كوهين، الكاتب الروائي والصحفي الفرنسي من أصول مغربية في البعد الأقرب هذه الميادين. وأنا زينب صفار، خليكم ويانا. Salama, welcome to الميادين. This is Zainab Al-Safal for the proximate aspect, and my dear guest is Mr. Jacob Cohen, Moroccan French writer, journalist and novelist. Jacob, absolutely amazing to have you with us. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to talk with you and with my friends in Lebanon, and I wish you a very nice time.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Yes, let's dive directly into our questions today. Jacob, you have extensive expertise on the MO, the modus operandi of Mossad, from what you have experienced and divulged about the Mossad heinous activities in Morocco. In terms of the Epstein case, a lot argue that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent. Was Jeffrey Epstein more than just a criminal? Was he, in fact, an intelligence asset?
Oh, definitely. I mean, he was pushed by the Mossad. The Mossad found in him a nice guy, very intelligent, smart, and he had also a great seduction with the people, male and female. And he was only a mathematics teacher, and he was boosted to be a financial counselor. He was given a portfolio of $100 million by a Jewish Zionist compatriot, American, and he began to develop like actions in financial field. So it was related to Goldman Sachs and so on. And he, in parallel to that, he began to seduce, to build a huge system with cameras and recordings, and he invited a lot of people to go to his island, and they were filmed. And the Mossad had, we can say, he had a lot of videos that he can blackmail a lot of people. I mean, in all the fields, actors, financials, politics,
Sure. Sure, but allow me
yes,
to ask you here, Mr. Cohen, while allegations of Mossad connections persist and circumstantial connections exist, like Ehud Barak relationship, Robert Maxwell history, funding of Israeli organizations, official investigations have not confirmed Epstein as an intelligence asset for any country. The primary FBI source making Mossad claims has been discredited as a fraudster and Holocaust denier. How do the Epstein files revelations and the conflicting narratives around Mossad connections reflect broader patterns of information warfare in the digital age, Mr. Cohen?
well, it's natural that the system, I mean, like we say, the deep state in America and in Israel and everywhere, MI6, try to hold secret the core of the system. I mean, that's why they talk about sexual things. Naturally, they are important, but in the purpose to hide the most sensitive things about Epstein, because Epstein was he was a close friend of Ehud Barak.
Sure.
Ehud Barak was a prime minister, ex-prime minister. He was leader of the army, and he was also the leader of the military intelligence for many years. So he was linked. For instance, Maxwell, the Ghislaine Maxwell's father,
Yes.
who had an empire of the press in Great Britain. He was a Sayan. It means he worked for the Mossad, like many thousands Jews all around the world, and he worked for the Mossad, and the Mossad killed him because he became he had an accident on a boat with Mossad agents. And
you mean Robert Maxwell, who was killed by the Mossad?
Robert Maxwell. So I suppose, I mean, it can't be a coincidence that he became a close friend and probably the most important lover of Ghislaine Maxwell. And we cannot I mean, reject the idea that all these the sexual things were only a kind of screen to hide the real. Many people in the States say that Trump, for instance, is blackmailed by the Mossad, because they have, like on other people, they have a lot of
But
video.
he gave the consent to release the files, Trump.
Well, they cannot release the most important things. I mean,
that's why they stopped now releasing more files.
Yes. But
after Netanyahu's visit to Trump.
Yes. But they release, they give the people something to I mean to bite on, you know.
Exactly.
So the people say, oh, there is a scandal here, there is a scandal there, and so on.
Sure. Here comes my question, Mr. Jacob. If intelligence agencies knew about the ill practices of Jeffrey Epstein and his gang, why did justice fail for decades? Why the revelations now?
Well, look, for instance, Epstein escaped from all justice pursuits, prosecutions. For 20 years, he escaped everything because he had a very high protections. So he escaped from the police, he escaped from the justice, he escaped from financial prosecution. Only in 2011 or 12, he was convicted to 11 months in prison. So
In 2007, he was convicted, yes, and he spent only like 13 months
yes,
in a
yes.
prison.
So it's very, very little. I mean, he played with hundreds of millions of dollars and so on, but the justice could never bring him to jail or to a big trial. So he was, and these protections, these very high protections, they came only because he had a very very tough files on all the people, and many very like Clinton, for instance. They were afraid that some files would be, and like today we have only a few things, like for instance kings of England brother, or the or Ariane de Rothschild, but I mean there are just a few things in relation of what really are like. Today we became only to get maybe a few percent of the diplomats' political relations and people who were subjected, like for instance,
Yes.
also.
Allow me to jump in here, sir. Who benefits when a deviant like Epstein can exploit the most powerful figures in the world's history? And who decides when secrets are buried forever and to what extent they are revealed?
Well, I suppose there is a deep state in the States, like in Israel and in England, Great Britain, and these people, who we simple citizens, we don't know. We don't know the power. We don't know the function. And they decide that some things cannot be exploited, cannot be given to the public, and they have a lot of power because we saw that in the COVID, for instance, that all the medias, the big medias, they were bought by billionaires. We have Facebook, for instance, Twitter, and all these medias were controlled, and there is a system that controls, we can say 95% of the information.
Exactly.
Of the so we can only have a bite of of what really is going on.
So in a world where intelligence
Yes.
agencies, Mr. Cohen, are intertwined with human rights abuses, with ethical violations and collateral damage, and where elite immunity is synonymous with impunity, can we truly trust what remains hidden behind layers of censorship and redaction in the Epstein released files?
Okay, sure, we cannot rely and we cannot trust. And people have this feeling that they are abused, the information. We know now, for instance, that the vaccine and the COVID were, something, it was built artificially and a lot of things. But the people have no power to do to resist or to do anything because they are controlled, they are prosecuted, and some people are assassinated. I mean, we have to say the things. I mean, when someone becomes really dangerous, he has some stroke, heart stroke, or he gets something. I mean, we have a lot of examples, and the deep state has he doesn't even I mean he doesn't care about the life of the people. I mean, when someone, like for instance Epstein was murdered, and we have his correspondent in France who you know that Epstein spent 4 to 5 months in France each year, and he had a very large how do you say? I mean, connection.
Yes, entourage of friends.
Yeah, and until now, we don't know even 2 or 3% of what he did or of what he did in France. We became only to have some information, and the system. You know that the system tried to say that to implicate Russia. A lot of medias in France, and I suppose in other countries, they say that it's a plot of Putin to destabilize the West, the democracy, and everything.
And that Epstein is a Russian agent.
Yes, exactly. So, the system tries, and with a certain success, because they control 90% of the medias. They control everything. So the big medias, like for instance in America, CBS, CNN, they try to hide the real impact, and they say that maybe it's Russian or it's not something. And you know that even in America, they didn't release, they hide the real information on the, for instance, Trump and some Israelis, Ehud Barak. When it was released, we don't see all the information. It was black,
Redacted. It was redacted. That's very
Yeah.
true. Yes.
So,
Allow me here to ask you,
yeah.
sir, the British Museum has modified descriptions in its Middle East galleries, removing references to Palestine from certain historical displays after complaints from a pro-Israel legal advocacy organization, of course. You have always criticized history textbook revisions to favor Zionist narratives in Morocco. What do you make of such narrative control, and how can we protect our genuine culture and history in this regard, Mr. Cohen? Quickly, if I may.
Yes. Well, the Zionists are very, very strong, very powerful, and they have a lot. What I wrote about the Zionim, it means they have maybe 40,000 to 50,000 Jews living in America, in France, in Great Britain, who control almost everything in the country, and they work very closely with the Mossad. And now they try, even to rewrite the story of Palestine. There is something, for instance, they try to criminalize the anti-Zionism, and they say that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, but it's wrong. I mean, I don't have time to explain that, but anti-Zionism is a politic position. Anti-Semitism is different, but as they have the power, they have a definition of anti-Semitism by IHRA. And this Jewish Zionist Association gave a definition of anti-Semitism, which includes all the radical critics of Zionism and of Israel.
Sure.
And all the states in Western countries, all the universities, all the towns, they adopted this definition. People don't know that, but to adopt this definition implies that all critics, radical critics of Zionism is forbidden.
Sure. Just one final thought before we let you go, Mr. Cohen. What's the headline you would write for the Epstein saga?
Well, the most important operation of intelligence led by the Mossad to control the Western societies, diplomacy, cultural, university, economics, and politics.
Sure.
And the biggest, probably in the history of intelligence, the most powerful and the most successful operation.
Right. Mr. Jacob Cohen, Moroccan French writer, journalist, and novelist. Thank you so much, sir. Absolutely great to have you, Jacob.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
تعد عملية الماس من أنجح الانقلابات الاستخبارية وأكثرها جرأة في تاريخ الموساد. نفذت العملية عام 1966 وكان هدفها الاستيلاء على طائرة ميغ 21 سوفيتية الصنع التي كانت تمثل حينذاك ذروة التكنولوجيا الجوية وبمنزلة صندوق أسود للاستخبارات الغربية رغم استخدامها من قبل القوات الجوية العربية في مصر وسوريا والعراق. ارتبطت هذه العملية في الذاكرة بلقب مصيدة العسل نظرا إلى الأساليب السرية التي استخدمت لاستدراج الخائن منير روفا الطيار في سلاح الجو العراقي آنذاك. لقد نسج الموساد لوحة من الظلال بدأت بطعم الإغراء في روما ومكافأة قدرها $1,000,000 وإجلاء جميع أفراد عائلة العميل روفا من العراق بأمان. في 16 من آب أغسطس 1966 أقلع الطيار روفا بالميغ برسمه خطا متعرجا فوق الأردن وهبط في كيان العدو. ومع اندلاع حرب الأيام الستة كان لغز طائرة الميغ قد حل تماما وفككت طلاسمها وحولت عيوب محركها إلى سلاح. لم تعد الفيش بيد تهديدا بل باتت خريطة طريق للسيادة الجوية الكاملة للعدو. في نهاية المطاف قدمت هذه الأسرار كهدية مغلفة لواشنطن وسلمت المعلومات مقابل العتاد والأسرار مقابل السيادة. تلاحق جيفري إبستين اتهامات بكونه أحد أصول الابتزاز التابعة للموساد مستخدما مصائد العسل للإيقاع بأصحاب النفوذ. هو الزقوم المدسوس في وهم العسل. إبستين لم يفعل سوى اتباع تقليد راسخ إذ لطالما كانت الغواية والإغراء والتلاعب النفسي سمات مطبوعة في سجلات الموساد. فهل عملية الماس هي فقط قمة جبل الجليد الذي يربط بين أساليب الموساد القديمة وفضيحة إبستين الحديثة؟ من كل الميادين حياكم.